What a month it has been. ACC Huddle Road Trip has visited all 17 football schools in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and we wrap up our road trip here, Louisville, Kentucky, with Jeff Brom and the Louisville Cardinals, and what many are expecting to be a very special season and the bowl. Alongside Tom Lugable and Roddy Jones, I'm Jason Spells. Guys, we've gone to every school that plays football in the Atlantic Coast Conference, but this is the most intriguing team.
Yeah, it certainly is, and this is a team that brings back a lot. It's a coach that's had unbelievable consistency over the course of his time at Louisville. The big question this year, and it's going to be the question every year, is can they take that next step?
Yeah.
It's a team that their first 3 losses last year were by a combined 7 points. They were right there. 8 one-score losses in Jeff Brom's first 3 seasons. If they can correct some of those little things in those one-score games, then this is a team that can absolutely compete for an ACC championship and absolutely compete for a college football playoff.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be so interesting about it is the quarterback position. And when you look at Louisville, the last 3 years, there's been a very consistent mode of operation. Jeff Brom has gone out and he's gotten 5th and 6th year graduate guys that had played a lot of football. First it was Jack Plummer, then of course Tyler Shuck, and then last year Miller Moss. This time he opts to go with a guy that's played virtually no football, an Ohio State transfer, Lincoln Keenholz. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a new look to the offense because he's so much more dynamic athletically than those previous 3 guys are. Makes you more difficult to defend, but he doesn't carry all of those valued reps of starting experience that those other guys did. So you open up against Ole Miss, and you got an inexperienced quarterback, you're going to rely on that run game and that defense if you want to have a chance to win that opener.
September 6th season opener,
Yeah.
Louisville, Ole Miss. Take a look at some of the guests who will be joining us over the next hour on our ACC Huddle Road Trip. Now, head coach Jeff Brom getting mic'd up. He'll join us in a few moments. And then running back Isaac Brown, offensive lineman Lance Robinson. We're going to mic up the new QB1 in Louisville, Lincoln Keenholz. And then Clem Lubin, the dominant defensive stopper he is. Oh, guess who else is going to swing by? The athletic director for the Louisville Cardinals, Josh Hurd. Some of the storylines for Louisville going into 2026. The Jeff Brom era just got a little bit longer. Louisville signing their former quarterback turned head coach to an 8-year extension. He has 9 or more wins in all 3 seasons here at his alma mater. And once again, there will be an incoming transfer who will be their new signal caller. Lincoln Keenholz comes over from Ohio State. He has some competition with West Georgia quarterback Devin Widener. And while we may know who will be under center, we do know who will be handing the ball off to, and that's Isaac Brown, one of the best running backs in the ACC a season ago. Back, and Roddy, we talked about this before, but like, he could have gone anywhere. You know the skill set he has and what he put up last season. Teams will call it, but he's coming back. What are some of your storylines you're interested to see about this Louisville team this season?
Yeah, I'd start with the running back position. It's one of the best running back rooms in the country and has one of the best backs in the country. So I think everything starts with that. The question on the offensive line are going to be questions that they're going to have to answer in the game against Ole Miss and throughout the season. But the biggest thing for me is kind of what Luke's talked about. Like offensively, obviously you're going to have a great running game. You should have a great running game with those 2 backs. How does Lincoln Keenholz fit in that running game? How do some of the additions on the transfer portal on the outside help this Louisville offense push the ball down the field? And how does the offensive line come together to let it all operate?
Well, and remember, this was a team that gave up 25 sacks a year ago. They'd only given up 14 the year previously. Well, guess what helps avoid sacks? The quarterback that can avoid pressure, right? And so I think that number will come down. But what people haven't seen, and I think this is going to be really interesting, is all of a sudden you're going to start seeing some single wing elements.
Yes,
you're going to see that slow mesh. You're going to see that quarterback pull. They're going to run zone read. They're going to have designated quarterback counter and quarterback power. And it's not going to be a staple, but they're going to force defenses to have to defend the quarterback's legs, which in this league, playing Louisville, nobody's had to do before.
And I think that gives them a pretty high floor offensively because there are some questions about Lincoln Keenholz consistently throwing the ball. Like over the course of his career, he's completed less than 60% of his passes in the mop-up duty that he had at Ohio State. So, and a lot of that came in a game where he just got thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
But when you look at even if he's not especially prolific throwing the ball, I think the element of the quarterback run mixed with those 2 running backs and the speed they have on the outside, if they just have to rely on, hey, look, the run game with the +1 with the quarterback, the conflict it puts the defense in, with the running backs as well, and then taking shots down the field at guys like Terry Richardson, I think they can still be a pretty good offense.
Me too.
And if he's good throwing the ball, then watch out.
Yeah, look out.
Jeff Brom took over the Cardinals in 2023, and he has won at least 9 games in each of his first 3 seasons, which is more than all the other Louisville coaches since they joined the ACC in 2014. The Cardinals are the only ACC team to win at least 9 games in each of the last 3 seasons. And with that, we welcome in the head coach of the Louisville Cardinals, Jeff Brom. Coach, thank you for pulling up to the road show. Look, success has come here at Louisville, and with that success comes expectations. A lot of people outside are looking at this team as being an ACC contender, college football playoff contender. How do you manage the expectations outside with what you're doing inside the program?
Well, that's always our goal, to get to the prize at the end, and we're going to work hard to do it. I think our team understands what it takes. It's not going to be easy. This is a really good conference from top to bottom. It's very competitive. We got a really good non-conference schedule. We play 11 power 4 opponents this year, so we got to be ready to go. And it starts off with a bang, game 1, but we've had a good camp. I think our guys understand the difference in winning and losing is so small that we've just got to make sure we're sharp and ready to go week 1.
11 power 4s, just like every coach draws it up when he designs the schedule before the season.
I think your SDS team that you're playing made it to the semifinals.
They're pretty good too. So Coach, I'll let the quarterback ask you the quarterback questions, but offensive line-wise, I mean, it's such a big part, obviously, of how an offense operates. The run game should be really good, but how has that offensive line come together during camp?
You know, I like our crew. I think they've done a good job so far. There are new faces, but they've gelled together. We feel like the first unit has been pretty solid all camp. You know, when we're dialed in and doing what we're supposed to do, I think we can be very effective. So we got to make sure we keep those guys healthy and continue to get the others ready. But, you know, the running game's important. Protecting the quarterback's very important. Being good in the play action, and it starts up front.
You know, speaking of the quarterback position, you know, we talked about this earlier in the summer. You know, your last 3 quarterbacks, and one of them, Jack, had worked with you before, had played a lot of football. They're all older guys. And then you've got Lincoln coming in, and he's a younger guy, but he's also an athletic dynamic that you haven't had. How do you build the offense around that type of skill set versus maybe what you've had in your previous 3 iterations?
I think it can be a little bit different this year. Without question, he's very athletic. He can run the football. He likes to run it, and that's a good thing. At the same time, you know, you can't run it too much and get hit all the time, or you're not going to last. But we have to use his legs. I think he can extend the play. He can throw on the move. He can throw on the run. Making sure situationally we use him in the run game is going to be important. So I just think it can add another piece to the puzzle, and I think it can make our offense more effective, and hopefully we can gain some big plays using his legs.
Speaking of running backs, Isaac Brown and Keywan Brown, having those dynamic backs back there with a mobile quarterback. From a scheme-wise, how does that allow you to maybe open things up a little bit more and maybe have a little bit extra wrinkles we're not used to seeing?
I like our running back room, and quite honestly, I think last year I relied on it probably too much. We were very effective running the football all year long, even when we had some injuries. But at the same time, we relied on Isaac and his big playmaking ability quite a bit. The room is strong. You know, Keywan is back behind Isaac. He does a really good job. We added Marquise Davis. Braxton Jennings came in the Kentucky game and did a solid job for us when he hadn't played. So those are 4 quality running backs. We're definitely going to use the running game, but we got to become a little more explosive. We got to attack the field vertically. We got to get some quicker touchdowns. So that'll be important to make sure we mix that in.
Coach, you got 3 guys who you could have back with the whole 5-for-5 court cases, all that stuff. But there is some of that that's still up in the air, it feels like, because a court decision can change things one way or the other. How do you prepare with the uncertainty of whether or not you're going to have or not have those guys, because it can change in the course of an hour?
Well, I think for us, every situation is differently. We have some options there. A couple of those guys are here. They've done a good job. They haven't been here at all, so we feel like we've got capable players right now. And without question, they have a chance to play a lot. They have a chance to start. They have a chance maybe to be a situational backup and play a lot of snaps, all depending on how this thing goes. So we're just preparing to get them ready like anyone else. We've got a nucleus of guys that have been here. We work with those guys every day. It's unfortunate all this stuff is happening where you don't know for sure or not for sure, but it's the nature of the business right now. But we've worked through it pretty good.
When you look at this football team, you come into camp and you're always going to have questions you got to answer. You're looking for a group to step up. Who is that on this football team? What position group is that?
Well, I think on offense, we got to make sure we are strong at the receiving room. Catching some vertical passes and making sure we're good in the passing game is important. I think we've made some strides there. We have some weapons. The tight end position is a position that we've got to really get involved and make sure they're sharp and doing what they're supposed to do. And to me, that's what separates a great offense from an average offense, is the ability to utilize tight ends, both in the running and the passing game. So that's important. I think on defense, we did a good job not giving up big plays last year. We made strides. There was a lot of things that happened where they played very well throughout the season. So maintaining that, getting pressure on the quarterback, causing some havoc in the backfield, getting some different looks, being able to handle some pressure packages where the quarterback feels uncomfortable is always our goal, but I think we can do that with our system right now.
September 6th, fast approaching opportunity to play Ole Miss, another strong Power 4 team, starting the season off with them playing in Nashville. How big is that for Cardinal Nation to take this game to play that team in that stadium?
I think it's huge for a lot of reasons. For us, playing a great opponent who went to the semifinals last year, that's why you coach, that's why you play, that's what our fans want to see. They want to see competitive football games. I think it's the only ranked matchup in week 1, and I think everyone wants to watch that. Sure. So it'll be a great contest where we'll measure exactly where we stand, and we'll have our hands full. We've got to be sharp, we've got to play well, but I think it's also important for the conference to play these type of games, and it's fun for the game of college football to kind of just see where teams stack up. I know it's week 1, but it's definitely made us prepare extremely hard in the off season and up to now, knowing that if we don't come ready to play week 1, it'll be a long bus ride home.
We're excited to see it. Jeff Brom, head coach of Louisville Cardinals. Thank you so much for stopping by, Coach.
Thank you.
You just heard him talk about his running back, Isaac Brown, averaged 8.8 yards a season ago. We'll check in with the catalyst for the Cardinals coming up next. Snap, Lane. Good, brother. Snap, Lane. Good, brother.
It's in the backfield, and he wears number 1, named Isaac Brown. Huge hole on the right side. Burst through, hits the gas. See you later, Isaac Brown. This man has game-breaking, game-changing ability.
Once more, it's Brown, and he breaks it. Nobody gonna catch him. Touchdown.
One of the best backs in the entire country, Isaac Brown.
Yards, tied for third most in FBS behind Michigan and Texas State. The first home run hitter was Isaac Brown. He left the country with 8.8 yards per carry last season. He also averaged almost 100 yards per game on the ground, setting a new career high. And the other home run hitter, well, his running mate, Kewan Brown, who was third in the country last season in yards per carry. Brown set career highs in carries, yards, and touchdowns last season. And with that, we welcome in Isaac Brown and every running back's best friend, offensive lineman Lance Robinson. Guys, thank you so much for coming to the Road Show. We were speaking with your coach earlier, and it's like you've had a lot of success in the years you've been here in Louisville, 9 wins. But this year, a lot of people looking at this team as if they can go all the way to the college football playoff. What's it like for you all knowing those expectations exist outside of the locker room?
Yeah, well, knowing that a lot of people are expecting us to be a college football playoff team, you know, that's a great honor. You know, we take it very serious. You know, we just come out every day ready to attack. You know, we come out and we try to just keep the standard the same. You know, keep the standard the same as it's been. You know, just trying to clean up on the little small stuff like finishing. And you know, we just really just trying to come together as a team, as one. You know, going to every matchup, we're gonna take it one game at a time, and then you know we're gonna see where we stand at the end of the year for sure.
Lance, next time we do that, I'm going to make sure that we spotlight you on all those highlights, because a running back's highlight is an offensive line's highlights too. But when you see what Isaac and Kewan were able to do last year and what you guys are expecting to do this year, how much pride do you take in that as an offensive lineman?
Yeah, you know, you know, I take pride in it for sure. You know, it's a huge honor blocking for guys like that. You know, they make my job easier, knowing that you just got to hold up your block for just a, you know, small second. You know, they hit the hole, they can go hit the head on the goal post. You know, you always want, as an offensive lineman, you always want guys running the ball that can make you look good. You know, playmakers that can make guys miss. You know, all we have to really do is just get them up to the second, third level, and, you know, they'll make it.
In here and have been very, very productive. Obviously, there would have been a lot of people calling you during the transfer portal period, but you stayed, you were loyal. What does it mean to come back to Louisville, and why was it important to do that?
I'd say just improve as a team and myself too, like, and being a better leader to the team I was last year. Cause last year I was not no leader I was just really around the guys and stuff. So I'd say just coming back is a big blessing for me and the team.
How have you done that? How have you improved as a leader?
I say, I mean, talking to the guys, coaches, studying, getting extra film.
Okay. Just becoming a better student of the game?
Yeah.
Isaac, my favorite thing as a running back was when you got to the point in the run where you saw the opening, you were like, yeah, this is a house call.
Yeah.
On your runs, how many times when you think it's a house call, is it a house call? So I'd say my hit rate was like 50-50 at best, because I didn't have the speed.
Yeah.
But on your runs, when you see that daylight and you think house call, how many times is it a house call?
Probably like 10 out of 10 for real. I swear, like, I just need like a little peep, a little hole, get me through that. I'll be straight.
When do you start planning what the celebration's going to be in the end zone? Because you
This
come up with some good ones. We saw some on the highlight film.
I ain't gonna lie, this season I ain't trying to celebrate. I'm about straight business, bro.
I love it. I love it.
Lance, I spoke with you back last month. You were talking about, as a leader, especially from the offensive line perspective, it was your responsibility to make sure that Lincoln Keenholz, your new quarterback, had a just certain comfort level in the pocket in this offense. After going through spring and now fall camp, how would you assess your leadership role in making sure he's comfortable back there?
Well, just showing up every day, being that consistent piece for him, you know, just that constant stone out there on the edge for him, you know, moving around the offensive line, you know, playing multiple positions, just giving him that comfortability, knowing that, you know, 5'3" is going to be out there, and just bringing along the other guys on the offensive line, letting him know that, you know, you have 5 guys out there on the field that's willing to lay it all on the line for you. And that just enough in itself just give him the confidence to go be him and just be himself. Go be a playmaker, go make plays, whether it's inside the pocket or outside the pocket.
Now, you guys have been here, but in today's college football world, there's just a constant influx of players coming in the door, players going out the door. How difficult is it to build a team? You can collect talent, but building a team, Lance, has got to be the most difficult component, correct?
Well, I'd say, you know, in this day's age of college football, I'd say, you know, to form a team with all the new faces every year, you know, it got to be more of a player-led thing.
Yeah.
You know, the leaders and the returners that's coming over from a year ago, you know, those are essential pieces and components in bringing guys in, making them feel comfortable, making them buy into the program, making them buy into the standard. And so, you know, the guys like me, Clev, you know, returners like Stanquan, AJ Green, you know, we all let the guys come in. We all let the guys come in and, you know, make them feel comfortable, let them know that, you know, yes, we are a team, but, you know, this is how we're going to do things. This is how we win games. You know, this is the culture that we're trying to, you know, instill here.
Well, look at this. We're excited to see this team and this culture continue to grow this season. Lance, Isaac, thank you so much for stopping by.
Sorry for the missed reps, boys.
They're calling his name. Get out there, get your reps, man.
As far as the guys up front, it will be an inexperienced group. And follow me here. Lance Robinson is the lone returner, while Eric Daughtry and Johnny Brown III are projected starters at guard. But take a look elsewhere on the offensive line. Evan Wibberly spent last year as a backup at Kentucky after starting all 14 games in 2024 at Western Kentucky. So we've discussed that they have one starter who got a lot of reps and a lot of play for Isaac Brown and in this offense a season ago. But everywhere else around him, yes, they've played before, but they haven't necessarily got a large amount of reps with this offense. So does that change in the personnel, maybe change how dynamic this run game can be?
Creates a challenge for sure, like having those guys all come together and all see the offense the way it's supposed to be seen. But if you're going to portal an offensive line, you might as well portal one with some experience. You mentioned Evan Wibberly having the experience of being at Kentucky. Kason Henry played at South Carolina. Eric Daughtry played at Boston College. And then Johnny Brown played a lot at Georgia Southern. So at least the guys have played, which benefits you. It's not obviously the way that you want to design it, but Lugs, I'm not super concerned about how good this offensive line is going to be.
The one position group that you always worry about the most in terms of cohesiveness and coming together is the offensive line, right? It's one of the most difficult positions to develop. right? And it's one of the most difficult positions to project. What I believe has helped not just Louisville, but every team in college football put together a solid offensive line is the fact that you don't have the second transfer portal period anymore.
That's a good point.
Because when you finished spring football, it used to be you had another group of guys going out, and then you had another group of guys coming in, and now you kind of got to press the reset button. Well, at least now you know you went through your winter conditioning, all of your spring football, all of your summer workout period to put that group together. So it does give you optimism that you can get it right.
It's also a situation where a lot of these schools are doing it every year.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting 2, 3,
Everybody's
4.
in the same boat.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
so like at this point, if you're not like Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon, the guys that you can just recruit at the highest level, and there's only a handful of them, everybody's bringing in 2 or 3 portal offensive linemen every year. So I think at this point, coaches have adjusted to it.
Oh, we've said the stat over and over. Isaac Brown averaged 8.8 yards per carry last season because he had to. He was such a big part of this offense. Not that his yardage or his usage changes, but the amount of yards he is expected to get will probably change, especially considering the fact Keywan will take a bigger step, as well as Lincoln Kineholz having an athletic quarterback and another running back that can take the load off of Isaac.
Yeah, but if he stays healthy, he's going to be a 1,500-yard rusher. I mean, he may do that on 150 carries. I would expect over the course of this year, he's going to be somewhere in that 180 carry range, which should put him, 12, 1,300 yards if he stays healthy.
I mean, you combine what you just said, the quarterback's legs, Keywan Brown, Isaac Brown. And remember, Isaac Brown's been banged up. Yeah. He has been a guy that has struggled to get through a season in its entirety. And so you're going to have some other wrinkles and some other guys step up. But if he maintains his health, his speed, plus Brown's ability to pound the football, and then the quarterback adds that extra hat, as you mentioned earlier, that makes you a triple-headed threat.
We've had the word dynamic thrown around a bunch since we've been here on campus, right? This offense expected to be more dynamic this season. We're going to be dynamic all season long on the ACC Network because we got Roddy right here, right? Roddy, he and EJ, they host our ACC Network podcast. Who you got this week?
Expected for Chris Long, Virginia legend, to join us, talk some about his experience and maybe preview that NC State game this week.
Drops every Monday, Wednesday, 5 p.m. on the network and wherever you get your podcasts. Still to come, how about QB1, Lincoln Kineholz? How's he settling in here in Louisville, making the transition from Columbus to the Bowl?
Get that out of here. There we go.
There we go. That's about right.
We talked to the new quarterback branch. Yeah, one of the greatest wide receivers to ever wear the Cardinal uniform is now back coaching up the wide receiver group, and he's wearing a microphone.
Come on, Coach Reno. You just come on, bro.
Turn it up today now.
Yeah, hey, that's what I'm talking about. Just don't mess up today, then, bitch. You feel me? Don't mess up today. You feel me? What's up, man? That's a great day now. Gonna be out playing, boy. I got that sheet for you guys if y'all need it. What's up with this guy? Why this guy here laughing and stuff? What's up with this guy, man? Oh, hey, bro. You can go back in the locker room, fam. You gonna be doing this now. Hey, ain't nothing changed, Trey. I'm still me. There you go. Change it up. Change it up. Change it up. Change it up. Good. There you go. Good job. Good.
San Francisco, what?
Good. Say hut, hut. Oh, come on, baby. Yeah. Say hut. Hut.
Going this way?
Yeah.
Here we go. Gotta come get to my toes.
We going inside?
Outside. Ready? I'll give you. Go.
Sit down. There you go. Good job. Good route, boy. One more yard. Give me 16, Weez. 16. Yes, sir.
Hey! Oh!
I gotta keep the feet. Right there, Trey. Get the ball to the ref. Same thing. Right there. Right there, Trey. Good job, boy.
Branch was just one of the best, catching 143 passes, over 2,200 yards, 18 touchdowns in just 2 seasons. He was named the second-team All-American in 1998. He's a member of the Louisville Ring of Honor. But then after he left, though, he went to New England and he was a star there. Won 2 Super Bowls for the Patriots, took home Super Bowl 39 MVP honors. Meanwhile, Jeff Brom, the head coach of the Cardinals, enters his 4th year leading his alma mater. Let's take a look back at some of the success he's had to date here in Louisville. It started with Jack Plummer back in 2023, who led the Cardinals to 10 wins during Brom's first season. Plummer threw for a career best 3,242 yards that season. Then Tyler Shook took over in 2024, and he handled his business, scoring 8-4 in 12 starts that season. Oh, he just threw for over 3,100 yards and 23 touchdowns, both career highs. And last season, Louisville relied on Miller Moss to lead things on the offense. He went 9-3 in 12 starts, completed 64% of his passes, and threw for a career best 2,679 yards. And that brings us to this season, 2026. Ohio State transfer Lincoln Kienholz takes over for the Cardinals. Kienholz spent 3 seasons with the Buckeyes, but did not start a game there in his time. Here he is with our Tom Luganville just moments ago.
All right, so you don't remember this, but 3 years ago, Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, Missouri, you're a freshman, you get thrown to the Wolves. Kyle McCord goes in the transfer portal, Devin Brown gets hurt, and here you are. Welcome to college football.
Yes, sir.
What did that experience teach you about coming from South Dakota to big-time college football and then all of a sudden being thrust into duty?
It was honestly probably just the speed of the game a little bit.
Okay.
Just how fast it was compared to high school. Obviously, the preparation and everything like that is different as well. But I think once I kind of went in there and played, I kind of got a taste of it.
Okay.
I felt pretty confident, felt pretty good. Obviously, it didn't go in our favor, but
Yeah.
I think just that experience alone helped a lot, just to kind of see the game, I guess at the college level.
Yeah.
And it definitely helped me.
So you look at the transfer portal, you decide to go. Why Louisville?
Honestly, I was talking to a decent amount of schools, but once I had that conversation with Coach Brom and Brian, just I guess their confidence and their belief in me.
Okay.
I think that kind of set them apart. I mean, obviously, they both played quarterback, super successful,
Yeah.
and they've also put some good quarterbacks in the NFL as well. So I think just from that, I guess that standpoint alone, it just kind of helped my decision a lot. And then it also wasn't very far from Columbus as well. So it was honestly a pretty easy choice. So yeah, that's why I chose it.
So there was 3 quarterbacks here before you, but they were all 5th, 6th-year graduate guys. Played a lot of football.
Yep.
You're coming to town and you haven't played much football. 36 snaps, I think, during your tenure at Ohio State.
Yep.
What do Louisville fans have to look forward to? What style of play are you going to bring to this offense?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty explosive. You know, we got some pieces around me that are going to be really good. You know, obviously the running back room, Isaac and Keywan, super explosive. Got some good receivers that I guess have been playing honestly really well throughout camp.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly super excited with that. But I think also, you know, being able to run the ball a little bit, you know, I think it adds an extra element to what defenses have to prepare for. And yeah, so.
It's exciting, man.
Super excited.
You
Yes,
think
sir.
I still got it?
Yeah, you do.
See?
You got that whip.
Thanks, man. Good
Yeah.
talking to you.
Luke still got it. He still got a little zip on that
He's
thing.
going to throw missiles at Keenan.
He still
Hey,
got it.
I haven't redshirted. I'm applying for the 5th year.
Let's take a look at the new look offense for Louisville offensive coordinator Brian Brom. Obviously, they have quarterback Lincoln Kienholz, who appeared in 7 games for Ohio State 2025. A trio of receivers will look to fill the void left by Chris Bell and Khaled Lacey, who went to the NFL. Those two combined for over 130 receptions and 1,500 yards last season. A newcomer coming into this offense this season, Trey Richardson, was named to the 2026 Bolitnikoff Award preseason watch list. He had 46 receptions for 800 yards and 7 TDs at Vanderbilt. Brody Foley, he racked up 5 528 yards and 7 tutties, with Tulsa a year ago earning first-team All-American Athletic Conference honors. I go back to the word we've heard people say, dynamic offense. That's what they want to build here in Louisville. Trey Richardson is a big piece of that, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. 17.5 yards per reception last year, was 5th in the SEC. He brings that downfield dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, think of like a thicker, maybe not quite as fast Tutu Atwell that you could see. Not as much jet sweep, different offense, but Louisville fans will be familiar with that type of player and the explosiveness that he brings. But I really like this tight end room as well. I mean, they got guys over like Brody Foley that you mentioned, but Jaleel Skinner, who's been here, and Justin Reed coming over from Tulane. Those guys are big targets, fluid route runners. So I think between the additions at receiver and that tight end room, they're going to have some weapons on the outside.
We were looking at Foley out here, and I said to you, he looks like former NC State tight end Justin Jolie.
Yeah.
I mean, just a thick, really athletic, rangy guy. You know, they want to push the ball vertically. We heard Jeff Brom talk about we got to get more explosive plays, right? Well, some of those, and he's not talking about the ones on the ground. They know they're going to get explosive. Yeah, they're going to get those. He's talking about the ones through the air. And so, you know, it's a new group. You got to gel. But again, you go through winter conditioning and workouts, spring football in the summer. And it's Lincoln Keenholz and this quarterback room's job to get those guys all on the same page. They've always had good skill here at Louisville. I don't expect it to be any different in 2026.
The question is, can you unlock a guy like Loane McCoy from Florida State, or Trayshawn Henry, who played a little bit at this Louisville school last year? Can those guys take a step and to have a well-rounded group, so you're not just relying on Isaac Brown out of the backfield or Trey Richardson down the field, or that tight end group? If you can have a couple of those receivers step up too, then I think the sky's the limit for this offense. It really can be good.
I think to steal a word from Tom, you said gel, right? Like, we have to see how quickly they can gel, because we know that test is coming week 1 of the season.
I thought you meant gel like the gel Luke's got in his hair.
Speaking of week 1, it's week 1 for the ACC Network, and our ACC PM show is back beginning tomorrow.
This week, they said the Louisville defense might be the best they face all year. Back to throw again, stepping up, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Antonio Watts. 2 interceptions in the last 2 possessions. Thrown downfield, intercepted. Gets rid of it quickly, and it's intercepted. TJ Capers, and Beck throws his 4th pick of the game, and that one was a killer.
One of the most fun games we've ever played in, because you guys stepped to the challenge to be the number 2 team in the country on their turf.
Yeah, that domination at Miami last season was just Louisville's 2nd win versus an AP top 2 opponent in the history of the Cardinal program. The other came back in 2016 when they had a Heisman Trophy winner, Lamar Jackson. He combined for over 300 yards of offense and 5 touchdowns in that rout against Florida State. When you talk about the Cardinal defense, you got to talk about Cleb Lubin, who's standing by with our Roddy Jones.
Cleb Lubin during a little water break, so I'm sorry to take away from your leisure time.
Oh, good.
But Cleb, what'd you work on in the offseason? Coming off of you were one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Working on everything, you know what I mean? My game's not complete yet. There's definitely a lot more things that I could develop to become a better player and put myself in a position where to help this team succeed and help myself succeed at a further level.
There is such technique into a pass rush. What do you feel like your strengths are technically when you're rushing the passer?
I think I got really good hands, just removing other people's hands off me, and then my motor just adds on to that. Getting sacks isn't always about the first or the second move. You just got to continue to pursue, and when it comes your way, you'll make a play.
You got heavy hands, man. How does one acquire heavy hands?
I don't know. I just think
How would you describe heavy hands for the people that don't know what it is, too?
I really just think it's a mindset, you know what I mean? Like, you come out there, you just want to outwill the person across from you. It's gonna come through them hands, and they're going to feel it for sure, so.
You got them jumper cables. You get them on somebody, they get shocked a little bit.
Definitely.
I want to talk about you off the field, too, because you're up for the Werfel Award, which is basically the most well-rounded players in the country. You do so much off the field. Why is that important to you?
You got to be more than just a football player. I think when it comes to just showing my personality, that's a chance to just be more than just a guy inside of a helmet, show people that I'm one of them. I love to interact with others, have a positive effect, and be someone that someone could say, like, oh, one day, like, oh, he had a positive effect on my life. I got to meet him one day, and he was such a joy to have in the classroom when he read to my class, or as a student, remember when you grow up, oh, I had this interaction. So I think that's important.
It's so important, and it makes you one of not only the best players, but one of the best people in the league and in the country. All right, a little bit of a different voice defensively. You've got co-defensive coordinators now, one of whom is your position coach on the defensive line. What's been different?
I think just like the mentality Coach Ivey kind of brings to the defense and the approach we kind of have. I like the way he's been coaching us. I like the way he's been having us attack mentally and the challenges that he brings in every single day. I know the whole group enjoys it, and I know Coach Ellis does a great job as well with that secondary and bringing that energy. I think they're like yin and yang, and it's a good little combo when you get those two together in a room.
I love it. Well, you are the leader of one of the best defensive end groups in the country. Appreciate you spending some time with us.
I appreciate you guys coming by. Thank you.
So Luba returns as one of the key contributors. That was part of a solid defense in 2025. The Cardinals were top 5 in both scoring and total defense, while also forcing 20 turnovers. This year's unit's success will depend on the ongoing legal battles for D'Angelo Hutchinson, Jabari Mack, and Khalid Perry as they seek an extra year of eligibility. We spoke with head coach Jeff Brom about that earlier, right? Like, you're building a team, building a culture, but you still don't quite know your pieces. You're a chef, but you still don't know all your ingredients. But that being said, this defense still has to cook this season. So how does this defense, with knowing all those other unknown variables, still regain a dominant form?
Well, they've operated without those guys for the last 8 months,
right?
Since the transfer portal closed. So it'd be a welcome addition, but I don't think it's going to make or break the defense, because this is a group that I think has a chance to be pretty darn good. Again, you start with the two edges with Kleb Lubin on one side, AJ Green on the other. They're really excited about Tyler Thompson as well, coming over from UNC, where he had 7 sacks a year ago. That was 8th in the ACC. And so I think that in group is going to be really good. They need to develop depth at the defensive tackle spot, but at linebacker with Antonio Watts, Stanquan Clark, TJ Capers, excuse me. And then in the secondary, they've got some interesting pieces, but I think you look at that front 7, particularly the linebacking core and the defensive ends, I think that's two groups that could be really, really good.
So what I think they're going to end up doing, until they figure out what the rotational depth is going to be at the tackle spot, I bet you they're going to end up getting into some multiple fronts where they take some of those edge guys and move them down and win with quickness. Yes, absolutely. Win with quickness, explosiveness, be disruptive. But when you talk to defensive coaches across the country, they all mention one thing, and it's every one of them to a man, and that is we cannot give up explosive plays. Louisville was one of the best teams in the country at not giving up explosive plays a year ago, and I think they'll be the exact same type of unit. And I love the fact that they've got Stanquan Clark back at linebacker. Getting him healthy, ready to roll in the middle of that defense. I think he's going to be the quarterback, the hammer that makes that thing go.
And in the secondary, I actually like the 2 additions that they made at the safety position with Caleb Bentley and Cohen Entringer coming over from Iowa, especially Cohen, because, I mean, this is a guy that had 70-plus tackles at Iowa last year. He played a ton. And you play in that Phil Parker defense, you know how to play defense. You know how to tackle at the safety position. And so there's a little bit of a question at corner. It looks like DJ Waller is going to be the corner opposite Tayon Holloway. So there are some places where the guys aren't necessarily proven at this level. But most of the guys, kind of like we talked about on the offensive line, most of the guys have played, and that's a positive.
That's what everybody's, if you look at it, and really Indiana was the blueprint. They were the recipe. The guys that are pursuing players that are older and have significant starts and snaps are the teams that are winning, right? Because when you're gonna put a 23, 24-year-old up against an 18 or a 19-year-old who hasn't played, guess who's gonna win that bout 9 times out of 10? And so to your point, we talked about it in the offensive line, the guys in the defensive secondary. They brought it, Kleb Lubin a year ago was a guy that we were talking about coming over from Coastal Carolina, but he had played a lot of football. So he just picked up where he left off and had a great year a year ago. And I think that's why Louisville, even though there's questions here or there, the guys they have set in place are not wide-eyed rookies.
Yeah, no question. Experience. They're leaning on the experience that people have had in other places, hoping that reinvigorates this red swarm, as they like to call it here, for the Cardinals. Still to come here on ACC Huddle Road Trip's visit to Louisville. Look who's going to just stop by, right? How often do you see a mayor pull up to the show? And athletics director. AD Josh Hurd, Mayor Craig Greenberg. Hear from the AD. Look at this. We got politicians pulling up to our shows. You know the ACC Network's doing big things. Road Trips visit to Louisville. Hey, when you come to Louisville, you have to go to the home of the greatest, the Muhammad Ali Boxing Glove Monument. This statue actually not too far away from where Muhammad Ali was born, here in Louisville, Kentucky. And if you're a Cardinal fan, make sure you mark your calendar. you better be at L&N Stadium on Halloween night because they're wearing these amazing Stanford's jerseys to win. The Cardinals host Stanford. They're wearing these all-black uniforms inspired by the boxing trunks of Muhammad Ali. For our younger audience, here's all you need to know about the man himself. He is simply the greatest. No other adjectives necessary. And I'm pleased to be joined by the athletics director for Louisville, Josh Hurt. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Excited to be here.
How excited are you for that game, for this season in general, but Halloween night, celebrating the great Muhammad Ali here at Louisville?
Anytime you get to do anything to celebrate the greatest, and you were talking about for the young ones out there, there's not too many personalities, I don't care, movies, sports, whatever it is, that transcends generations. Muhammad Ali's done that. He is truly Louisville's favorite son, so we're going to do everything we can to keep his memory alive.
Looking ahead to October the 31st, but also September the 6th, season opener, Louisville, Ole Miss in Nashville. And that's really part of it, just a big day for University of Louisville athletics down in the Music City, isn't it?
Should be a really, really exciting day. Volleyball team, one of the best in the country, is getting to play the University of Texas earlier that day on ESPN. And then we flip the page, get ready for football for one of the biggest games, or I would call it the biggest game of the week, when we get to take on Ole Miss at Nissan Stadium.
So if you're a Louisville fan, make sure you go to Bridgestone to start the day. You end the day at Nissan, right?
That's right. I've actually had some fans like, what time's volleyball start? They're like, man, it's going to be a long day. Hey, should be a really good day for Card Nation.
I also got to talk about what you all did in the offseason, getting a contract extension for head coach Jeff Brom. Played here, a Louisville guy. How important is it for this university to make sure that he stays here?
Really, really important. And as I've said a number of times, the conversations Jeff and I had weren't about necessarily his contract and what he's getting. It was about what are we going to do for this program. And as I mentioned last week at the kickoff luncheon, I'm never going to hold it against anybody in our athletic department or anywhere that says I want more for my program or for the University of Louisville. And that's why we've got to keep him here, because he's going to fight for this program, and he's going to fight for this program to be amongst the very best in the country.
So we're doing our ACC road trip. We've been to all 17 football schools here in the ACC Athletic Coast Conference. We've spoken to athletic directors. We've seen presidents, provosts, chancellors at all of the schools. We haven't seen too many mayors. Craig Greenberg, mayor of Louisville, is here in attendance at practice today. Why is it such a symbiotic relationship, more than just the name University of Louisville, but with the city and the university?
This city and this university have such a unique relationship. We always say there's no pro sports, and I understand we have professional soccer here, but we don't have a Major League Baseball team, football team, basketball team, hockey team. So we really are the city's team or teams, basketball, football, on and on and on. And they embrace this university and these teams like they are theirs. And it's fun. It's fun. As I say, the way that how our teams do changes the mood of this city. It really does.
I'll tell you right now, the mood in this city is elevated. It's electric because everyone's expecting a big season for the Louisville Cardinals. Josh Hurt, Athletics Director, University of Louisville, thank you so much for joining us.
Always happy to be here.
September 6th. If you're in Nashville, make sure you check out what the Cardinals are doing at Bridgestone and over at Nissan. And coming up this Saturday, make sure you keep here on ACC Network. We have the alt-cast of NC State versus Virginia. Kickoff set for 3:30 Eastern, then wrap up the night, Hawaii at Stanford. Oh, just turn on the ACC Network and don't turn it off. College football is back. So 9 wins, we're used to seeing that here in Louisville, but realistically speaking, expectations for the team this season, how many wins do you think they get?
I don't think you could bet on anything other than 9. Yeah, I don't know. The first 2 or 3 weeks, the first 3 weeks are going to be crucial. Ole Miss, Villanova, SMU. If you can come out of that 3-0, you're a college ball playoff team. You come out of it 1-2, and you know we're kind of worried. But I think this is a team that's good enough to achieve a double-digit win season.
Well, if you want to have a shot, and you look at that schedule right there, to play in the ACC championship with the hopes of making the college football playoff, it's 10 minimum.
Yeah,
10 minimum.
Sure.
And so, and this team's good enough.
It's got to be the right.
It's got to be right there. This team is good enough to do that.
You know what, guys? It's been a great month of August. We have visited all 17 teams that play football here in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And we've had some very memorable moments, have we not? Yeah, take a listen. We'll take you back on the road trip that was.
Oh, what an honor. What an honor. Man, I'm as pumped up as a bike tire right now. Let me tell you, this is great. Quarterbacks on there.
I'm the assistant to the assistant DB coach and throw my interceptions daily.
Right.
Daily to the boys.
I want to break at a 45-degree downhill because I want picks and tackles, not PBUs and missed tackles.
And you guys need those picks, man. You got to have the turnovers from last year to this year.
What would you say your vision is for this offense in 2026? The biggest thing for us is to show up and just be our best every single day. When we do that, we put this team in the best position to go out there and win every single game.
We've won this league 3 times in the past 6 years. Nobody else has won it more than once. Our program's always under attack. Yeah. And so I defend our program and I defend our players.
Let's go. Let's go, man. If I was as big as you, I'd go bear hunting with a switch. Huh?
I'm curious, do you have a Coach Zell impression?
I mean, not really.
That hesitation.
It's too early in camp. It's too early.
Everybody wants to know what Mason McKenzie's going to bring this year.
This is a guy, look, he's a little undersized, but he's a very strong player. Mason's done an unbelievable job.
Coach, you had me at undersized and strong. I was bought in there.
At the end of the day, we get to play a kid's game, and it's kind of our job. What's better than that? If you're not coming out here with a smile on your face every day, then what are you doing?
There's a road trip on Animal House, I believe.
Yes, there is, Coach.
That was my first blind date movie with Catherine.
Oh, yeah?
We were pretty stupid back then.
Here's a look at the ACC Road Trip by the numbers. We visited all 17 schools, starting with Georgia Tech on August 3rd, finishing today with Louisville on August 24th. We had 82 guests across the 17 shows that provided fans exclusive access to each team. And finally, we traveled nearly 15,000 miles to bring it all.
Wait,
10 seconds. What's up?
Are they dividing that mileage so we can reimburse it to our expense reports?
We're going to put it on your card. Hey, for Tom Luganville, Ronnie Jones, I'm Jason Spells. ACC football starts this weekend. Oh, Churchill Downs, one of the greatest venues in all of sports. It calls Louisville, Kentucky home, as do the Cardinals, who are hoping that this season have many memorable moments for their football program.